Vayak'hel. First reading, Abraham, Chesed. Moses assembled the whole Israelite community and said to them, "These are the things the Lord has commanded to do. For 6 days work is to be done, but the seventh day shall be your holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whoever does any work on it will die. Do not light a fire in any of your dwellings on the Sabbath day." Moses said to the whole Israelite community, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Take from what you have a contribution for the Lord. Everyone who is willing is to bring to the Lord an offering of gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen, goat hair, ram skins dyed red, and sealskins, acacia wood, olive oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil and for the fragrant incense, and onyx stones and other gems for the ephod and breastplate. All who are skilled among you are to come and make everything the Lord has commanded: the tabernacle with its tent and its covering, clasps, frames, crossbars, pillars, and sockets, the ark with its poles, and the atonement cover and the curtain that shields it, the table with its poles, and all its articles, and the bread of the presence, the candelabra that is for light with its accessories, lamps and oil for the light, the altar of incense with its poles, the anointing oil and the fragrant incense, the curtain for the doorway at the entrance to the tabernacle, the altar of burnt offering with its bronze grating, its poles and all its utensils, the bronze basin with its stand, the curtains of the courtyard with its pillars and sockets, and the curtain for the entrance to the courtyard, the tent pegs for the tabernacle, and the tent pegs for the courtyard and their ropes, the woven garments worn for ministering in the sanctuary, both the sacred garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments for his sons when they serve as priests." Then the whole Israelite community withdrew from Moses' presence. Vayak'hel. On a leap year, second reading, Isaac, Gevuah. And everyone who was willing and whose heart moved him came and brought an offering to the Lord for the work on the tent of meeting, for all its service, and for the sacred garments. All who were willing, men and women, came and brought gold jewelry of all kinds, brooches, earrings, rings, and ornaments. They all presented their gold as a wave offering to the Lord. Everyone who had blue, purple, or scarlet yarn, or fine linen, or goat hair, ram skins dyed red, or sealskins brought them. Those presenting an offering of silver or bronze brought it as an offering to the Lord. And everyone who had acacia wood for any part of the work brought it. Every skilled woman spun with her hands and brought what she had spun, blue, purple, or scarlet yarn or fine linen. And all the women who were willing and had the skill spun the goat hair. The leaders brought onyx stones and other gems for the ephod and breastplate. They also brought spices and olive oil for the light and for the anointing oil and for the fragrant incense. All the Israelite men and women who were willing brought to the Lord free will offerings for all the work the Lord through Moses had commanded them to do. Vayak'hel. When connected, second reading, Isaac, Gevuah. On a leap year, third reading, Jacob, Tiferet. Then Moses said to the Israelites, "See, the Lord has chosen Bezalel, son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Yehudah. And he has filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, ability, and knowledge in all kinds of crafts, to make designs for work in gold, silver, and bronze, to cut and set stones, to work in wood, and to engage in all kinds of artistic craftsmanship. And he has given both him and Oholiab, son of Achisamach, of the tribe of Dan, the ability to teach others. He has filled them with skill to do all kinds of work as craftsmen, designers, embroiderers in blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and fine linen, and weavers, all of them master craftsmen and designers. So Vayak'hel, Oholiab, and every skilled person to whom the Lord has given skill and ability to know how to carry out all the work of constructing the sanctuary are to do the work just as the Lord has commanded. Then Moses summoned Vayak'hel and Oholiab, and every skilled person to whom the Lord had given ability and who was willing to come and do the work. They took from Moses all the offerings the Israelites had brought to carry out the work of constructing the sanctuary. And the people continued to bring free will offerings morning after morning. So all the skilled craftsmen who were doing all the work on the sanctuary left their work and said to Moses, "The people are bringing more than enough for doing the work the Lord commanded to be done." Then Moses gave an order, and they sent this word throughout the camp: "No man or woman is to make anything else as an offering for the sanctuary." And so the people were restrained from bringing more, because what they already had was more than enough to do all the work. Vayak'hel. On a leap year, fourth reading, Moses, Netzach. All the skilled men among the workmen made the tabernacle with 10 curtains of finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, with cherubim worked into them by a skilled craftsman. The length of one curtain was 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. All the curtains were the same size. He joined 5 of the curtains together and did the same with the other 5. Then he made loops of blue material along the edge of the end curtain in one set, and the same was done with the end curtain in the other set. He also made 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the other set, with the loops opposite each other. Then he made 50 gold clasps and used them to fasten the 2 sets of curtains together so that the tabernacle was one. He made curtains of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle, 11 altogether. The length of one curtain was 30 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. All 11 curtains were the same size. He joined 5 of the curtains into one set, and the other 6 into another set. Then they made 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in one set, and also 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in the other set. He made 50 bronze clasps to fasten the tent together as one. Then he made for the tent a covering of ram skins dyed red, and over that a covering of seal skins. Vayak'hel. On a leap year, fifth reading, Aaron, Hod. He made upright frames of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each frame was 10 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide, with 2 projections set parallel to each other. He made all the frames of the tabernacle in this way. He made 20 frames for the south side of the tabernacle, and he made 40 silver bases to go under the 20 frames, 2 bases for one frame, 1 under each projection, and 2 bases for the other frame, 1 under each projection. For the other side, the north side of the tabernacle, he made 20 frames and 40 silver bases, 2 under one frame and 2 under the other frame. He made 6 frames for the far end, that is, the west end of the tabernacle, and 2 frames were made for the corners of the tabernacle at the far end. At these 2 corners the frames were double from the bottom all the way to the top and fitted into a single ring. Both were made alike. So there were 8 frames and 16 silver bases, 2 bases under each frame. He also made crossbars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on one side of the tabernacle, 5 crossbars for those on the second side, and 5 crossbars for the frames on the west side at the far end of the tabernacle. He made the center crossbar so that it extended from end to end at the middle of the frames. He overlaid the frames with gold and made gold rings to hold the crossbars. He also overlaid the crossbars with gold. He made the curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, with cherubim worked into it by a skilled craftsman. He made 4 pillars of acacia wood for it and overlaid them with gold. He made gold hooks for them and cast their 4 silver bases. For the entrance to the tent, he made a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer. And he made 5 pillars with hooks for them. He overlaid the tops of the pillars and their bands with gold and made their 5 bases of bronze. Vayak'hel made the ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. He overlaid it with pure gold, both inside and out, and made a gold molding around it. He cast 4 gold rings for it and fastened them to its 4 feet, with 2 rings on one side and 2 rings on the other. Then he made poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. And he inserted the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark to carry the ark. He made the atonement cover of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide. Then he made 2 cherubim out of hammered gold at the ends of the cover. He made 1 cherub on one end and the second cherub on the other. At the 2 ends he made them of one piece with the cover. The cherubim had their wings spread upward, overshadowing the cover with their wings. The cherubim faced each other, looking toward the cover. He made the table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, 1 cubit wide, and 1.5 cubits high. Then he overlaid it with pure gold and made a gold molding around it. He also made around it a rim 1 handbreadth wide, and put a gold molding on the rim. He cast 4 gold rings for the table and fastened them to the 4 corners where the 4 legs were. The rings were put close to the rim to house the poles used in carrying the table. The poles were made of acacia wood and were overlaid with gold to carry the table. And he made from pure gold the articles for the table, its plates and dishes and bowls and its pitchers for the pouring out of drink offerings. Vayak'hel. When connected, 3rd reading, Jacob, Tiferet. On a leap year, 6th reading, Joseph, Yesod. He made the candelabra of pure gold and hammered it out, base and shaft. Its flower-like cups, buds, and blossoms were of one piece with it. 6 branches extended from its sides, 3 branches of the candelabra on one side, and 3 branches of the candelabra on the other. 3 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms were on one branch. 3 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms on the next branch, and the same for all 6 branches extending from the candelabra. And on the candelabra were 4 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms. 1 bud was under the first pair of branches extending from it, a 2nd bud under the 2nd pair of branches extending from it, and a 3rd bud under the 3rd pair of branches extending from it. 6 branches in all. The buds and the branches were all of one piece with it, hammered out of pure gold. He made it 7 lamps, as well as its wick trimmers and trays of pure gold. He made the candelabra and all its accessories from 1 talent of pure gold. He made the altar of incense out of acacia wood. It was square, 1 cubit long and 1 cubit wide, and 2 cubits high. Its horns of one piece with it. He overlaid it with pure gold, the top and all the sides and the horns, and made a gold molding around it. He made 2 gold rings below the molding on its 2 sides, 2 on opposite sides, to house the poles used to carry it. He made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. He also made the sacred anointing oil and the pure, fragrant incense, the work of a perfumer. Vayak'hel. When connected, fourth reading, Moses, Netzach. On a leap year, seventh reading, David, Malchut. He built the altar of burnt offering of acacia wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. It was square, 3 cubits high. He made a horn at each of the 4 corners, so that the horns and the altar were of one piece, and they overlaid the altar with bronze. He made all its utensils, its pots, shovels, sprinkling bowls, meat forks, and fire pans, of bronze. He made a grating for the altar, a bronze network, to be under its ledge, halfway up the altar. He cast 4 bronze rings to hold the poles for the 4 corners of the bronze grating. He made the poles of acacia wood, and overlaid them with bronze. He inserted the poles into the rings so they would be on the sides of the altar for carrying it. He made it hollow out of boards. They made the basin out of bronze, and its stand out of bronze, from the mirrors of the women who served at the entrance to the tent of meeting. He made the courtyard. The south side had curtains of finely twisted linen, and was 100 cubits long, and had 20 pillars and 20 bronze sockets, and with silver hooks and bands on the posts. The north side was 100 cubits long, and had 20 pillars and 20 bronze sockets, with silver hooks and bands on the pillars. The west end was 50 cubits wide, and had curtains, with 10 pillars and 10 sockets, with silver hooks and sockets on the pillars. The east end, toward the sunrise, was 50 cubits wide. Curtains 15 cubits long were on one side of the entrance, with 3 pillars and 3 sockets, and curtains 15 cubits long were on the other side of the entrance to the courtyard, with 3 pillars and 3 sockets. All the curtains around the courtyard were of finely twisted linen. The bases for the pillars were bronze. The hooks and bands on the pillars were silver, and their tops were overlaid with silver, so all the pillars of the courtyard had silver bands. Vayak'hel. On a leap year, Maftir. The curtain for the entrance to the courtyard was the work of an embroiderer, made of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen. It was 20 cubits long and, like the curtains of the courtyard, 5 cubits high, with 4 pillars and 4 bronze sockets. Their hooks and bands were silver, and their tops were overlaid with silver. All the tent pegs of the tabernacle and of the surrounding courtyard were bronze. On a leap year, Haftarah of Vayak'hel. 1 Kings 7:13 through 26. King Solomon sent and brought Hiram from Tyre. His mother was a widow from the tribe of Naphtali, and his father was a man of Tyre, and a craftsman in bronze. He was highly skilled and experienced in all kinds of bronze work. He came to King Solomon and did all the work assigned to him. He cast 2 bronze pillars, each 18 cubits high and 12 cubits around by line. He also made 2 capitals of cast bronze to set on the tops of the pillars. The first capital was 5 cubits high, and the second capital was 5 cubits high. A network of interwoven chains festooned the capitals on top of the pillars, 7 for the first capital and 7 for the second capital. He made the pillars with 2 rows surrounding one network to decorate the capitals on top of the pomegranates. He did the same for the second capital. The capitals on top of the pillars in the portico were in the shape of lilies, 4 cubits high. On the capitals of both pillars, above the bowl-shaped part next to the network, were the 200 pomegranates in rows all around. He erected the pillars at the portico of the temple. He erected the pillar to the right and named it Yakin, and erected the pillar to the left and named it Boaz. The capitals on top were in the shape of lilies, and so the work on the pillars was completed. He made the sea of cast metal, circular in shape, measuring 10 cubits from rim to rim and 5 cubits high. It took a line of 30 cubits to measure around it. Below the rim, gourds encircled it, 10 to a cubit, surrounding the sea. The gourds were cast in 2 rows in one piece with it. It stood on 12 bulls, 3 facing north, 3 facing west, 3 facing south, and 3 facing east. The sea rested on top of them, and their hind quarters were toward the center. It was a handbreadth in thickness, and its rim was like the rim of a cup, like a lily blossom. It held 2,000 baths.